Welcome to a show about things you can see without going far, and a lot of them are free. If you thought there was nothing in the old heartland, you ought to hit the blacktop with these fools in a van. Look out, they're driving hard, checking out art in their own backyard. Randy does the steering so he won't hurl. Mike's got the map, such a man of the world. That's Don with the camera, kinda heavy on the shoulder. And that giant ball of tape, it's a world record holder. Look out, they're driving hard, checking out art in their own backyard. Look out, they're driving hard, checking out the world in their own backyard. Checking out the world in their own backyard.
Yeah, cold out this morning.
No, it's great this morning.
Hey.
Whoa.
Whoa. Moo. Hey, whoa.
Dear TV mailbag, is it Ben or Jerry?
Do we pay extra for that?
Hi, Don the camera guy here. Happy to discover this cow isn't mad. At least until these TV weasels con him into some heavy lifting.
Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah. Tapes. Oh, the camera bag.
No idea what's in there. For your troubles. It's the first time I've ever felt good about cow tipping. Ciao now, brown cow.
Ciao now, brown cow.
Livestock labor laws aside, it's nice to have some help, which means a few more minutes to take in Lake Champlain.
That's us, that little dot right there.
Purported home of a giant sea creature the locals seem to know and love.
Champy, the Lake Champlain monster. We're gonna see if we can see him. If we can't, this will have to do.
I think maybe someone is taking some tiles.
The Champy monster?
Champy.
Champy?
Not the Champy monster.
Just Champy. Now, over there, where's that? Over in Ireland or Scotland, the Loch Ness monster? Now, that's kind of a scary name, Loch Ness. It's like, but Champy?
I think they don't want him to be scary. This is that Burlington tree hugging, let's all be
Monster
friends.
hugging.
It's pretty clean lake. Look how clear the water is.
It is clear.
It's very clear.
You see the monster?
Where
Anybody?
is the monster? Do you hear a...
No.
That's so nice of them to provide a town whistler.
It's the whistling monster.
Now somehow not seeing what we were expecting to see doesn't seem near so bad when soon we're seeing this instead.
Wow. That's
Lots and lots of lovely hills and dales and the state's fall foliage starting to flash. But Vermont has only one floating bridge, the one that sits smack dab in the middle of teeny tiny Brookfield. And that's exactly where we've come.
But
Yep.
everyone stops, they come over and they ask me, can we really drive across it? Yes, it's a state highway, you can drive across it. Now there's some controversy about whether or not there was always water on the bridge. And one of the neighbors has documentation over 30 years that the bridge used to be dry. I've only been here for 2 years, so I've been telling everybody, oh, it's a floating bridge. There's gotta be some water on it.
Do you swim well in case there's any
Yeah. Oh,
issue?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
come out and get me? Send the dog?
So, yeah, you have 24 hours to get your car out of the water because otherwise you get a fine of like $100.
Ticket for being submerged for
Yeah.
over 24 hours.
If I don't make it, you can have my stuff.
It's a state highway. Don't go fast. Were there some other instructions?
I don't like this.
Look at this.
I hope we're not over 6,000 pounds.
Check this out. Check this out. Huh, we're below the water. If you look over there. How often do you see that when you're at the bridge? We're below the water. Randy's heart is beating, but he's doing okay. He's kind of grooving. She was nice, wasn't she? There you are.
You did it! Yay!
I was right with
the water.
It was water.
All that being with the water has left us needing to let some go. Good thing there's room at the inn for doing just that.
Bye, guys!
Bye.
After saying our goodbyes to Nina, And grabbing some quick puppy love, we barreled a few miles back up to Barrie, the town where more granite is mined than any place in the world, and consequently where markers made from it make Hope Cemetery a one-of-a-kind stop.
Are these carvings like awesome or what?
They're very awesome. This place is amazing.
There's an airplane, there's a car, there's a cool cube.
Yeah.
Man, this is like the best. This is the best ever.
Wow, this guy looks like Jack Benny. Oh, Rochester. Clearly they've come to bury Caesar. Did Maxfield perish? Look, it's up on a lift.
It is. It's getting some work done. Is this a reminder that at some point we should check our fluids?
There's your problem with self-guided tours.
Heck with us.
But fortune smiled upon us when we least deserved it, in the form of a Barrie man who'd spent years burying people here.
This is the old sections. If you go over in the new sections, you'll see sandblast. All this stuff is done by hand. All that up there, all that carving, that's all hand done. There's Mr. Cordy.
Wow.
Like these roses here, right there, that's all hand done. The old Italians, some Spaniards, they did that all by hand. See those urns up there? Those were turned on a lathe. Just like a lathe, like wood carving. These raised round letters, that was all done by hand. Okay, I mean, these guys are going, hey. Okay, see that, see that?
They were good.
Best in the world.
Best in the world. The stuff is really impressive.
Best in the world.
Italians seem to be pretty prominent here, right?
Yes, we are.
I noticed the
A
name.
lot of Italian families here.
Yeah.
And they were the best stone carvers?
Yes.
Does it get cold up here?
Smart guy, isn't it?
For Randy's sake, I suggest we resume the driving portion of this show, though not much actual driving is needed to reach Hardwick. If you're wondering what's happened to the folk art part of the show, here it comes, in a big way, here at the old firehouse.
We do about 500 workshops a year, all from Burlington to St. Johnsbury, so it's all northern Vermont. And 2 workshops a week here, community workshops, open to anyone that would like to come. Real nice mix of kids, elders, everything in between, homeschool kids.
Art therapy this is not. More like a great grassroots greenhouse growing a bumper crop of local talent, ranging from Larry Bissonette near Burlington.
This is called Uncle Leo's Earthy Dwelling.
Now, is that Uncle Leo or is that Larry?
That's Larry.
To Hardwick's own 80-something Dot Kibbe.
She's a retired nurse, and she started coming to our community workshop about 20 years ago.
To the master of moose, Muriel Dinsmore, to name just a few.
He comes in, he's got all these paintings, stuff he's either seen or read about. He loves doing the Vermont landscape. If you look around here, there's just so many different kinds of styles and expressions, and it's really refreshing. We're not coming in saying, okay, paint like this or do this. It's just letting people do their own thing, which is really the idea behind Gray's. It's a wonderful place to be around and step into every day. Yeah, it's great.
And speaking of spirit, get ready for Gayleen. Gayleen Aiken, that is. Painter, puppet maker, author, musician, and Barrie's all-around force of nature. Though after 2 broken legs, she's not the hiker she once was.
These are all life-size here. Was that you at the piano?
That's the Rainbilly cousin, my originals. Oh yes, they're all around the Nickelodeon, you know. People come from miles around to see my hobbies.
Who are the Rainbilly?
The Rainbillys are the cousins, Rainbilly Hill cousins, who live on a big farm. And there's 24 children, the mother and the father, and 24 children. I made that story up when I was a very young girl, very small girl. I made up the story of the Rainbilly Hill cousins. I've always lived in the country. I never lived in cities or would ever want to live in a city. I miss everything about my old house, the wallpaper, the woodwork, the chandeliers, the friendly neighbors, country hills, and the old-fashioned sinks. And I've written a lot of books about the good old days. I made story scrapbooks, found the right pictures that look like our house and things, too.
A lot of this is local history, though, it looks like to me.
Yeah, it's local history as well as being funny. I make a lot of funny books about the local history and our industries. We are proud of our granite industry.
I'm still a little confused. The Rainbillies are a family that you made up?
Yes, I made up the story when I don't know, maybe I was 4 or 5 years old. And I began to write the words and before I could even go to school.
So I'm amazed at how young you started doing this.
Yes, I was an artist all my life. I was only about 2 years old, I couldn't walk much. And I drew on the woodwork. My father took off that woodwork and kept it. And that would be worth money now. Well, well, look who's hiding. What's this? Cousin Golline. Ha, 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 ha. I'm Cousin Golline. I'm hiding in your travel bag. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, I hear a cat. Meow, meow, meow. It's Susie the cat. I didn't know she was in there. I hear a dog. A Sheppy Lassie.
Could you ever have imagined that your drawings and stuff would have made you so famous, though?
No, I used to tell people I was a private artist, just drawing pictures for the shut-in friends, and just drawing pictures for fun, you know. I didn't think I was going to be famous. Didn't really expect to be or want to be, I guess. I don't drink, smoke, or drug. I don't even like to take my ordinary aspirin, but I have to take one for the knee because it aches so much, but I believe more in prayers. I love the organ. Wish that was louder. One key don't play there. Maybe they let children play it. I hope not. These are not meant for children to fool with.
Gayleen, I noticed that your book is called The Enchanted World. Do you feel like you live in an enchanted world?
I don't know. Maybe when I'm making my pictures, I don't know. Maybe.
There's the clapping.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Man, this is roomy.
Now, on occasion, I may have complained about our accommodations. But check it out. A room large enough for that game of catch that's been getting rained out.
You kids, get out of the way.
Now, is that the bullpen back behind you, Mike?
Yeah.
No, Peppa. I suppose if you stayed here long enough, you'd know how to play the waltz.
No, you don't see this often, nor I would wager will you see what awaits us here either.
Cool lions.
Along with all the natural history you'd expect, the grand old Fairbanks can hold its own with anyone when it comes to bug art. Insect mosaics made by a New Jerseyite named John Hampson more than 100 years back.
Was there anything to indicate he was going to make bug art?
Nothing in his history particularly. I think he was a curious fellow, and entomology captured his fancy when he was living in New Jersey, and apparently he had too much time on his hands because he certainly spent a lot of time collecting these. Remember, this was before the bug zappers and the other commercial products that would cause piles of dead bugs at your feet. So he was out collecting these mostly at night, and then meticulously turning them into these lovely mosaics. We believe that each one of these took several years, and the number of insects in these ranges from somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 upward to 20,000. So it's a huge piece of work.
What specific bugs are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about very common moths and beetles for the most part. And they were very abundant, which made it easy for Hampson to collect them. But we're very fortunate also that these particular insects have this structural color so that they haven't faded over the years. The color is actually built in the microscopic structures of the proteins in the wings. And so they retain their color despite being under the lights for the better part of a century now. And they're still as bright and pretty as ever. We don't know very much about his politics, his sense of history, or we do know that he was patriotic.
And he had a 50th birthday.
And he survived his 50th birthday and celebrated it with his dedication to his own life, yes. He was apparently a quiet and discreet fellow who was reasonably successful at what he attempted and threw his life into this particular work and died not knowing that it was going to wind up in a prominent Northern New England museum.
That has a lot of other stuff.
It has a lot of other stuff, by the way, yeah.
What time was he doing this?
He did this from the 1870s to about 1920, over a long career. And that was a time, contemporaneous with much of the collection in the museum, that was a time when attitudes about nature really were that you collect and assemble and amass everything that's evidence of God's creation. And that's what Franklin Fairbanks was about as well.
I know there are other things here. But
there are other things here, and we hope to take a look at those as well. We hope anybody who comes for the bug art will be pleasantly surprised. But if the bug art is what draws folks here, like flies to the light, that's fine.
Or weasels to a flame.
Weasels to a flame.
Charlie's right about the other stuff, but as usual, there's no time to linger. We are, in fact, passing up the Dog Chapel, this town's other big claim to fame, to soak up one last dab of scenic Vermont before crossing state lines to commit more video offenses. Here in New Hampshire, they say live free or die, and while you're at it, why not do some shopping? Sure enough, we've stopped in Gorham to sneak a peek at a shop unique. Let's let the proprietor explain.
Say, I think, let me take your glasses off in case any good-looking women watching. You know, I just want to.
Our audience is all good-looking women.
Oh, I say, I think, as far as I know, that we are the only all-moose store. There's a lot of other stores that carry a lot of moose stuff. We have nothing but moose, strictly moose. Hence the name. Look at the
Caribou,
sign.
no armadillo.
No armadillos.
No elk. Aardvarks.
Nope, none of that. Nope.
It's strictly
moose. Moose.
What originally gave you the idea for a moose?
My wife was working and I wasn't. And what do people come up here for? 90% of people come up here to see moose.
And how thrilling is it to see a moose?
Depends how bad you want to see one, I guess. You know, me, I know I'm moosed out. I've been doing this for 7 years.
It's the running
It doesn't really excite me anymore. We have moose poop on.
Oh,
It's a nice sweater.
yes, and here's the hat.
One size fits all. The visor. That is a fine piece of casual attire.
I think it's you.
Any tips
They
for
have-
us?
Yeah, stay away. Stay away from a male in rut. And now is rut season. You don't even want to mess. You don't, because they'll come after you.
Yeah. We got to my cabin in the woods and I do a little running.
What about moose and squirrel?
Moose and squirrel. What are you talking about?
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah, the heck with Rocky. No, he's just a squirrel.
Al, what are you doing?
No armadillos, no penguins, just moose.
Now Al is closing up shop, but just for the winter, since apparently it does get cold up here. That means more bargains to clutter up the Chrysler, which even now is hauling us into Maine, past Farmington, birthplace of the earmuff, and into Canaan, home of the Lindbergh Crate Museum, which is just what the name implies, and a motivational tool to boot.
What you're looking at is the box that brought the Spirit of St. Louis back to the United States after Charles Lindbergh flew to Paris. Didn't look like this when I found it. It was in pretty rough shape when I found it. And I found photographs of what it looked like and hauled it here and restored it.
How do I know it's really the Lindbergh crate?
Then here's the real deal right in here. Here's a picture of it being loaded onto the USS Memphis. And this would have been the wings in this box here. You can see the slide, this strap in here is this strap in here, and there's a vent up in this window. If you look at it, these are the two vents up in the corners. This is a brief summary of what Lindbergh Crate Day is to the kids in my community. Lindy made his dream come true with some planning, so can you. Choose the place you want to fly, always, always try. Lindy flew his ocean blue. If he did it, so can you. You can tell you're looking at a guy who grew up reading Burma Shave signs, right?
And what is that?
Oh yeah, it looks like a landing strip.
That's the Spirit of Canaan.
All right, I'm liking this.
Oh, geez, wait a second. I gotta get Paris up for you. Paris is blowing over.
I can't see out the front.
That's the way it was.
Like a Chrysler minivan.
Yeah. Contact.
Engines check. Oh yeah.
Touchdown, Houston.
Skidding to a stop.
Very big hit with 3rd and 4th graders.
Oh, I'll bet. Oh, yeah. I call it the Big Bang Theory of education. They come here, and I tell them things that I want them to think about. Then I give them the really big bang, and that's F-16s, A-10s, C-5s, all these aircraft flying around, and they have a day that they will remember. But then I believe that they'll also sit back, and over time, all this other stuff starts to percolate down for them. So we get in here every year, and we hang a big carrot from this. It's the carrot's in the house, but so we get in this baby, and we just hang that carrot on there. And they get in
It's
here.
also a good reminder to pay attention so you don't get whacked by it.
Yeah. And we ring that bell. We always do a little something with that. And this thing, you load it with 7 loads of toilet paper. And it's got 4 leaf blowers inside it. So it takes this toilet paper and unfurls it like, you know, higher than the top of this tree. I'm just kind of a big kid. I enjoy it all.
Do you come out and sit in the crate sometimes and just soak up vibe?
Not very often. Like when I knew you guys were coming and I didn't have anything to do, I came out here and I read for a couple of minutes, but I got a lot of lawn to do, and my wife says I got too much vibe already, so I don't need to soak up much more.
Ordinary people doing extraordinary things is what Larry's all about. So we felt compelled to share with him our constant companion, the world's largest ball of videotape. Who knows, we may end up on the wall too.
You are creative guys.
Or idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It is heavy.
That's nice. Symbol of the great era in the late 1800s when Bangor, Maine was acclaimed to be the lumber capital of the world, reputed to be the largest of Paul Bunyans in the world. There are a lot of Paul Bunyans out there.
We've seen some.
Yes, Bangor has one big Bunyan, with literary merit too. In Stephen King's It, a giant lumberjack not unlike this springs to life and terrorizes the town. Or so we think, since none of us has actually read Mr. King's book.
Yeah, hello, hi.
That was Steve. I call him Steve.
No, I doubt the world-famous author will be dropping by soon. So after poking around a wee bit
It
more,
looks like there's some kind of secret flap back there that opens up.
we adjourned across the street for a hot cup of joe and began our drive out to Deer Isle, which requires crossing this very cool bridge. Stonington, at the other end of it, is where Everett Knowlton built his own miniature village. Tiny versions of things you'd see in towns around Penobscot Bay. Everett's gone now, but his buildings have survived. Taken in by local folks each winter and spiffed up for display.
This is a miniature village. It's like a regular village, only
Miniature.
smaller.
However, first-hand accounts are hard to find, which must account for our brand new associate deputy producer working the phones like a champ.
You're going to go meet Thurlow Pitts, and he's like a local historian. He has a column in the paper every week, and he knows everything about this area. So you're all set. You're going up to his house.
This village was primarily a hobby. They really it was built over a number of years, one house at a time or something like that, and got a lot of attention. A lot of people stopped it and photographed it and so on.
I bet Everett must have been awfully proud of that.
Yes, he was quite pleased with it, and deservedly so. It was very attractive and very unusual, and added a lot to the town.
Would he approve of the way it's been handled?
Oh, I think so. Yes, I'm sure he would be glad that it hadn't been dismantled sold to somebody outside of the community. It's part of the community. I think that's perhaps the most notable thing about it.
Can you tell that we're not from around here by the way we talk?
I think so, a little, yes.
Can you tell we're out of good questions? And just about out of time, too. So here's one final reminder. If you're ever in Stonington, give so that little houses can live.
Thank you for producing our show for us since we're
My-
starting to fail miserably at the
My
task.
pleasure. You just want a producer who does the job, don't you?
Finally.
Yes.
This is Don the Camera Guy, signing off.
To learn more about the sights you've seen on this show and plan a road trip of your own, visit Rare Visions on the web at kcpt.org. You can also purchase DVDs, videotapes, and a companion book to this award-winning series. Call 1-800-459-9733.
Full service?
How are we?
He doesn't know. He has to wipe it up and put it back. You've ever done this?
Looks vaguely familiar. We're good. We're good for another, what, 10,000 miles? We're down a quart?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's put one in.
What do you want?
Best oil you got.
Cheapest oil.